please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Public participation. Did we get anybody come in?
I didn't get any.
Anybody? Okay, we've got some actions going on here. Move the adoption of motion 25-059 to dispense with the reading of the minutes from May 1st, 2025 regular meeting, May 14th, 2025 work session, and May 19th, 2025 special meeting. Need a second for that motion?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Move for the adoption of motion number 25-060 to approve the minutes of May 1st, 2025 regular meeting. Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Move for the adoption of motion 25-061 to approve the minutes of May 14th, 2025 work session.
Second.
Discussion?
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Move for the adoption of motion 25-062 to approve the minutes of May 19th, 2025 special meeting.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Abstain.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Purpose of the motion, part-time police recruit, Armin Robbins, full-time officer. I said, move for the adoption, well, got sworn in first, don't I? Now it comes in later,
No.
take that back, okay. Move for the adoption of motion 25-063 to promote part-time officer, recruit Carmen Robbins to a full-time officer at the rate of 28 to 39 an hour, effective retroactively to June 1st, 2025. Contingent upon passing all peace officers certification standards. I need a second. Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Police chief, Robert. Call up camera.
I would say something about the recruit and to give them a hard time how they work for me. But, I've watched Cameron pass his state physical, he just graduated, and it was his last day in the academy. One thing about Cameron is he's the smartest candidate in the academy. And I know this because I have snitches in the academy that tell me, but for all of their like pre-testing that they have, Cameron would make all the tests for all of the recruits in the academy so that they would all pass it. So he's gonna be taking my job someday in the near future, doing everything else. So, but we're very proud of him. He worked really hard. I was there the day he did his fitness test and everything. He's a great addition to the township. He's gonna do an outstanding job. He's just not used to my sense of humor yet. That's it. So, Mr. Young, whenever you're ready, come on up. Yeah, if you guys need to move to the video picture, feel free to do that.
Now, I saw something on YouTube where somebody's being sworn in and they say, repeat after me. State your full name. The kid goes, repeat after me, state your full name. So let's not have that. Okay, repeat after me. I, Carmen Robbins,
I, Cameron Robbins,
do solemnly swear and will uphold the Constitution of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear, hold the Constitution in the United States of America,
And the law. State of Ohio.
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
And the laws and ordinances of Ross Township.
laws in Ross Township,
Ohio will, and Ohio, as I should add Ohio. And will discharge the duties of a police officer
discharge the duties of police officer
which have been appointed to the best of your.
I've been appointed to.
So, parents,
Who wants it to pin the badge?
come on up
There it
forward.
is. We're gonna let Dad pin the badge real quick, sir.
Oh, yes, you can. You can.
Remember, you can stick him here, we won't take a roll.
Yeah, and if he cries out, not tough.
Now turn and fake that real quick.
Somebody to be proud of.
Now we're gonna have y'all move over.
We'll get a quick picture and then family, we'll bring you up for a big photo also. Well, let's just bring all family up. Come on, let's go.
Make
Now
it,
let's get between
make it
the
a family
flags
ordeal.
first.
Come
Get
on.
Between the flags, everybody cuddle up.
Everybody kind of like,
Cuddle up,
sideways.
cuddle up, and then we'll get family in here in a second. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we'll do family.
Come on up. Here, we can take photos and take pictures.
Go on this side. See,
I see the peanut gallery. So
I like the fashion you moved here, girl. Where's Christine at? Oh, sorry. Jump in there somewhere.
Tracy, you can come over. Just
Very
shift
good.
over just a little bit. Just a little
You
bit.
put him in the
Don't-
center of
don't-
the-
Yeah, put him in the center. That's awesome. All right, look out. Thank you.
Your phone. No picture on.
You can't stage it.
I'll do this one for you real quick. You get it? Sorry about that. Shiny. Way too close. 1, 2, 3. Look right here. 1, 2, 3. You guys go.
thank you.
This one you have, right?
Hey, Dan. That's your. Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan. It's okay to show them. Go ahead and cry.
Here you go, sir.
I'm so proud.
Gee, it's magic. You did a good upgrade, didn't you?
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, we do need a ramp, but I'm always worried I'm gonna fall off of it. Everybody shift your drinks. Okay.
By the way, I like your hat. I would normally have mine on. Yeah.
What? Oh. That'll have to get fixed.
Oh, the special. Can we just,
We can just, yeah, she'll just line it out.
However you want. Whatever way works best.
Thank you for catching that.
yes.
As corrected. My line was right. All I
You
was,
should still always check.
one would think.
We'll go back into session here. Reports, fiscal officer.
Thank you. Coming around for you to review and sign are quite a few things. First off is the certifications of purchase orders and checks written since the last meeting. In front of you, as far as reports go, there's a receipt report for the month of May. I highlighted one item. We did receive a check from Rumpke in the amount of $121 for damage to a stop sign. And then I will also point out that we had a resident, John Roberts, who passed away in the township, and the fire department has received quite a few donations in his memory. I think it's hovering around the $500 mark at this point. So, and I know that when Chief Johns gets them, he sends out a thank you note. And then when I get the checks and process them for cashing, I also send a second thank you note on behalf of the board. So
Thank you.
I do that for every donation that we receive. Moving on, there's also management reports for the month of May. There's a revenue summary report and a fund summary report. I did not put on those two reports that we're 42% through the year, but we are, so you'll have to trust me on that. There's an appropriation summary report, and that does state that we're 42% through the year, and so far so good. We're holding our own in all the departments. Nothing is looking too dangerous or too out of whack. So we're holding our line pretty well. There's an appropriation supplemental report as of May 31st that is going to need your review and your signature, and this is just where I am moving money within funds. But something that you should take a look at. Then, let's see, we have the first financial credit card attestation for the month of April. That will require President Young's signature, and the bank reconciliation for May, no big surprises on that either. Good news is we don't have any outstanding checks, which sometimes can plague us. So we are pretty much, any checks that are outstanding are just within a 2-week window, which is fantastic and doesn't often happen, but those also need and require your signatures. I printed for you the interest on our new hybrid checking account. The interest comparison from last year at this time to this year at this time, and we are 54% higher than we were last year at this time. So the move to that hybrid checking account was a good move, and I don't see any need to I will continue to monitor it and keep an eye on it, but I think we just need to leave it everything as it is for right now. And then finally, that's about it for me, actually. I don't have anything further for you all this evening.
I got a quick question. Who is Urs? Why are we paying them so much money?
Who?
Urs,
Who's hers?
IRS.
Oh, the ERS. Oh, they make me nervous every time I have to pay the ERS. We will have, don't know where it is. Oh, I guess it's later in the meeting. There will be a couple items that are going to require an amended certificate, but they're going to come up under different departments for grants and things. So I'll just let that come up in the normal course of the meeting. So
There's one expense on there for underground something. Was that something for the road department? Underground something, $16,000.
Yeah, that's to demo the burn structure.
Yes.
on,
Over here. Okay.
Is that on the purchase orders?
It was on purchase.
It must
can't
be
remember
on,
if it's on purchase
I
orders or
created
checks.
we have not paid it yet, but it's, the underground, that's the purchase order to move forward with that.
And is that assessed on their taxes then?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But we are
Or-
hoping that the land.
We're
bank will-
hoping that the land bank reimburses us actually, and then they can do what they want. But if that's the case, then it will not be assessed on their taxes.
Right.
So,
Purpose, okay, I move for the motion 25-064 to pay the bills as presented through the fiscal officer certification and purpose of purchase orders. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Administration.
First on the list is a nuisance update, and that is regarding the burned residential structure on Robin Avenue. Demo is scheduled for the week of June 16th, provided that Duke Energy removes the overhead lines by that time. The meter has already been removed, and the water meter is out in the yard, so Night Waterworks said that nothing is required of them, so hopefully that will be demoed by the end of this month. Administration has one resolution for your consideration this evening, and that is to enter into a contract with Viking Fire Protection to provide inspection and testing of township building fire suppression equipment, and that would include the fire extinguishers at all 4 buildings, the kitchen hood at Station 102, and the fire alarms system at Station 102. And one motion for your consideration, and that is to schedule the required annual Records Commission meeting. That meeting consists of the president of the board, the fiscal officer, and myself, and we would like to have that scheduled immediately prior to the June 19th session. And that's all that administration has.
Viking one, I read over that Tuesday or Wednesday. Is that put out for bid, or do you?
I
call-
contacted 2 companies.
Okay, okay.
So I was going to ask you about the one on Timmerman. I meant to drive by that today and I didn't have time. Has that all been cleared up? As far as all the cars and the business and everything else?
So they started doing it again, that was taken care of.
I meant to go by today and
Yeah.
take a look at it before I came down here. All right, purpose to approve the agreement with Viking Fire Protection Group. Resolution 2025-032, entering into an agreement with the Viking Fire Protection Group for the inspection, testing of fire protection equipment for the township owned property and also the township administrator to executive agreement. I need a second.
Second.
Is that a move for the adoption of that resolution? Okay, gotcha. Thanks, sir.
All right, any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Purpose, schedule annual reports commission. Move for the adoption of motion 25-065 to set the meeting for Ross Township Records Commission to be held Thursday, June 19th, 2025 at 5:30 at the Ross Administration Building.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Let me clarify, you made the motion, President Young?
That I did. Did I
Okay.
say you did?
No.
Move for the adoption?
No,
I
but
did.
that's fine. If
Okay, I
you,
missed that part?
Yep.
Ooh, you're good.
I'm trying. Trustee McGurran.
Yes.
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the correction.
No problem.
Okay, fire department.
Have a few items on the agenda tonight. First is our monthly fire EMS, total for May, the total 237 incidents. 80 EMS and fire. On that third page, you can see the 3-year comparison. It's another month that was a lot higher than we were the last 2 years. Getting busier. Lieutenant Meyer has completed 17 inspections for the month. 12 new ones, 5 re-inspections. Also, Lieutenant Meyer, he finished his fire emergency service instructor class today. That class was, the cost was split between us and Morgan Township. They helped us out a little bit, paid for half of his. But they'll be a good asset. Community engagement. We installed one residential Knox box. I installed 8 smoke detectors. Active 5 families. Couple grants, or one grant, I'm sorry. We received $2,500 from CSX for the purchase of battery-powered Milwaukee scene lights. Another grant that we already notified we received it. Will the merchandise the end of this month, I believe, from Back to Heroes. It's for 2 battery-powered Milwaukee saws, 2 reciprocating saws. I think the batteries that go with all those. That's about $3,000 worth of equipment there. Couple resolutions and a motion I have for you tonight. The first one, and most important one, is the need for the 6.5 mil fire levy to be placed on the ballot this fall to continue our operations and help us move forward with our capital get done. That will be, it'll cost the taxpayer about another $1 a day for this levy. And also make note that the other 2 current levies will immediately be rescinded when this one passes. The next resolution is to accept the grant from CSX Transportation for the battery-powered scene lights. Then a motion to hire part-time firefighter medic Kevin Kelsey. Comes to us with about 20-25 years of fire and EMS experience. He's gonna be a great asset to our. That's all I have for.
Thank you for pursuing the grants that you get. All that money helps, and I think it shows everybody that really working hard to try to get every dollar you can to help fund things. What do you attribute the increase over the 3-year 23 to 25? Actually, it's 24 months, 2 years almost.
Like every other community around here, the calls just keep going up. The
Okay.
residents are getting
Hey,
more mutual aid calls,
wait a minute now. I wasn't asking for that.
growing more mutual aid calls in the city of Hamilton and
Okay.
Colerain.
Okay.
Everybody's getting busy.
That creates a burden on your department, I'm sure.
Sometimes.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So before I go too much further, I want to address people who are here. I appreciate if you listen to this and maybe take it to talk to your neighbors. Our fire department is a very excellent fire department, has been for a number of years. And we're presently operating on more money than what we take in. And we have a levy to be coming up next year in the 26th. But we thought we'd put the 6.5 out in front of the people now. So if it passes, then the other 2 automatically will die. If it doesn't pass, then we have a chance of doing it again. We have to have that 6.5 to generate enough money, which I believe should keep us sustained for about 5 years, and then we'll be going back down as far as costing more than what we're bringing in. But for right now, it should be sufficient. So I hope everybody would understand we have to have levies. The state has talked about dropping property taxes, which is kind of like, oh, great. Then how do we fund our schools? How do we fund our townships? Townships that are bigger, like Colerain, Green Townships like that, they can generate a lot of money through taxes because they're self-governed. They're not self-governed. We can't impose taxes like that. So they can still have money to operate, but we cannot. And that would just devastate us if something like that would happen. Because our state legislators thought it was a great idea to talk about it, but they have nothing to back it up and change. So how are we gonna fund it? That's the thing. We have to have a levy and have to have this one passed. So purpose in the event of the.
Excuse me, can I add to that real quick? The current 2 fire levies are at 5.75 mils. They've reduced down drastically over the last several years because of our growth. So the jump to 6.5 is just 0.75 mils. So it's not like it's a brand new 6.5. It's just the jump from 5.75 to 6.5. Just wanted to point that out.
Which is good, because, the idea of what happens is as years go by, it might be more houses, but it generates just so much money. Doesn't matter how many more people come into the township, it still generates just so much money. And once that money's topped out, it's topped out. So that's the thing here. It's gonna be, we're gonna have a new beginning doing that. And like I said, after 5 years, it'll be generating not enough money to, we can still have growth, but still it generates just so much money. So anyway,
The other thing this does is it creates a permanent base for our fire department, the same way that it did for the police department. Which is to say, there won't be a renewable levy or what's the other one? Renewable or a replacement levy. This will put funds in place for us to have a fire department in perpetuity, rather than have to hope that something is passed every 5 years. And I think that's just as important, if not more. Thanks, Chief Gerhard, for the fire department, because fire protection is paramount.
yeah,
As well as EMS.
don't mind having a fireman at your house to say hi, but you don't want a fireman there until you really need it.
Yeah.
You know, same with the call.
Yep.
Anyway, in the event to keep the department fully self-funded, discussion regarding to the needs of additional continuous 6.5 bill fire levy in the fire department to determine to be necessary. The board requests the Butler County prosecutor proceed prepared in the following resolution, which begins with the process of placing a new levy November general election ballots on adoption. For resolution number 2025 033, declaring the necessity of levy for the
Second,
discussion.
Trustee McGurran.
yes,
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Purpose. The approval and accept the grant from the CSX Transportation and the battery powered scene lights. For the adoption resolution. Authorizing, accepting a grant from CEX. Transportation making an appropriation for and testing and an amended certificate of estimated resources from the public. Discussion?
Trustee McGurran.
yes,
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. Purpose, to approve the hiring of part-time firefighter and medic, Kevin Felt, to the position of full, part-time firefighter medic, at the rate of $20 per hour. This employment is subject to the completion of all pre-employment testing and is in accordance with the current staffing, solution summary pay rate resolution. Any
second,
discussion?
Trustee McGurran.
yes,
Trustee Blower.
Yes.
Trustee Young.
What's the call?
Basically, three options. Diameter. The options. 50 to 60. Brookline Heights, John's Edge. It's $500. What I do, what I
Is this a yellow light pipe?
Yeah. The last 72. Last point. I do 20.
So at the bottom of the pipe, I don't know if it's oval or if it's round or like that. The bottom's gone. Where is the support if after it's done? Can that still come?
It will collapse. I mean, if we concrete the bottom.
It keeps it from coming in.
That is what. Is a flip. Concrete. Been doing that.
Do they put any pins in the metal itself to have something to grab a hold of so it can't come up?
I haven't heard of that one, but so many words, you can make it finger. County does it.
So just like a hypothetical, is there another way we can get a segment of corrugated, same kind of corrugation, get it heated in there and maybe fasten it to the existing, what's still there, solid? Yeah. Just a thought, that's all.
In a concrete. It's not. Or
Starting to collapse. Hypothetical guess how long will it last?
I don't know.
Costing. Either like,
It's hard to
like
say.
a bullet
I mean,
now or don't.
I have. They put out new maps. Apply for that. Like to apply. Sure. Well, I have my. We have.
It's, I used to have one on the books, but due to the Supreme Court, yeah, you can't, used to be able to cite them if they did do certain things, but that changed. We require them, ask them to register, so we know, but the best way to handle that is put a no trespassing up on your door. If they keep coming back, then we, if you come back,
That's all we got.
probably did at some point in time. Everybody had one at some point in time. Then they had to repeal them.
Sorry, dude.
I mean, I have it up on mine. Just have one.
I can take a ball. Police department.
Thank you, sir. Couple things for the board. I'll try to keep it brief. May community engagement. So for May, I think I covered everything. We had our tractor, bring a tractor to school day. Have a starfish reading assignment that we did at Elda Elementary, where based upon a grant that of $2,000, we distributed books out to every single kid. We went in there and read books to every single child in every classroom. And then I realized that there was a lot of graders smarter than me because they were helping me with some of the big words on there.
Like
We're in
Yeah,
the
like
taller
where-
ordinance?
You know, my wife said that. She's like, why did you take pictures next to the kids? Some are taller than you. I won't say my response here in the public. We did our canine announce, so it was the intermediate school that won the canine announce. I think that school alone, collected over 1,200 cans for Boston working. I think total we had over 2,000 cans. And they named the dog Blitz, so that was pretty good. Memorial Day Parade was a success. About 2,000 people I estimated out there. We had our drone up doing security. We pre-planned that along with the fire department, ops plans to make sure we covered all of our bases. It was a really good event. I went to the prosecutor's surprise birthday party. I did not know anyone there, but my wife knew everyone. So I took her. So we engaged about 3,200 people in May alone for speaking of which, tomorrow we have Cones, Cars, and Cops here with the police department, and a big shout out to Flubs for donating little samples that we will be passing out. So if you have a car and you want to bring it, bring it. We will have hamburgers and hot dogs that we will cook for everyone. It's gonna be a good time. It's only 24% chance of rain, so I think we're gonna be okay. Motorcycles, whatever else we wanna bring in. Calls for service for the month of May. We had 269 total calls for service. We had 422 self-initiated calls, including business, vacation checks, traffic stops, and extra patrols. I spoke last month about a very serious crime that we had up there involving a sexual assault at the trailer park. Due to the great work and numerous hours of all of our members, including our part-time detective, who spent a lot of time working on this case. That gentleman pled guilty, and he's registered as a sex offender, and he is going to prison, which is where he should be for a long period. We also got an indictment on an aggravated possession of drugs that just came across. Our part-time detective helped deal with we have a large amount of meth, felony 2 or only 1 amount of meth that we seized off of a person who basically overdosed while driving, and then we collected his drugs from the scene. So that is going to the grand jury. It was a great team effort. It was like 52 grams of meth, that is not personal use. If you're a meth person and you're listening, that's trafficking in meth. So we're working on that case, but that's gonna require some serious jail time. An aggravated menacing that we had where a handgun was used in the offense. Detective Minnick also worked on getting video for that. We had a local business that had a check stolen that was washed and cashed down in Georgia. And this is kind of our commitment to why we have a part-time detective. He was able to actually solve that case for Georgia and then hand deliver it to them because we didn't have jurisdiction on it, and get some closure for our local business that was a victim of. Hopefully Georgia will do the right thing and prosecute that.
Was the meth person, were they in or from Ross, or were they passing through Ross?
They were coming to Ross for a reason, probably to sell drugs, but they also had another reason to be in here at the time. I'll leave that business out.
Not-
We can have that in executive session.
I'm not trying to ask a stupid question, but were they driving?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Were-
Yeah, and they probably overdosed and crashed.
That-
And then we investigated that and recovered drugs there at the crash scene.
Did that hit on Flock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright.
We had a new doctor's office that's opening a practice in Ross. They had a problem with a patient from South Carolina that was harassing them. Detective Minnick assisted them in getting cease and desist letters, and then reached out to that person who does not live around here and said, if you do this again, we're gonna sign warrants on you, and those calls. There was a theft with a local business that's a higher amount, like an F4, that we didn't have jurisdiction on, but we are working with the prosecutor's office and the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office to find jurisdiction, because I said someone has jurisdiction, and we're going to make sure this person gets charged appropriately. And Detective Minnick did a really good job leading that. And then obviously, there was a call about a domestic that we had that was pretty significant, involving an arrest for strangulation. I was out there that night when we executed those to make sure it was safe, and board is already aware. So some interesting, our drone, I haven't given you a drone report yet, but Theo Stamper's been doing an excellent job on night shift with the drone. So he trains all the time and he has to log those flights. So I had him out for the Memorial Day parade. We're gonna have a video of that, where he was not only doing security for us, Overwatch, but he was also filming those activities. We're gonna put that out on social media, but he's actually had 2 captures of suspects be arrested with the drone. So he got called to a scene for criminal trespassing and can't find the person at night, but used the drone to find the person safely and then said, hey, we're looking at you right now. You should come out. And then we arrested those people. So he had that. He also had it on a domestic case that ended up, we had a victim that was kicked out of a car here at the gas station. It didn't actually occur in Ross, but they drove through and he was actually able to find, using the drone, locate the victim because it was a cell phone ping and we didn't know where they were. And then he actually located a vehicle that he thought was maybe the suspect using the drone and had the county deputies stop that car. It ended up not being, but he was watching this car circling in the area and thought this may be the bad guy, which really does with 2 incidents for officers safe. So he's having a lot of fun with it, and it's being used in a way to really help us out. So in regards to, I've got some resolutions that'll come up, but I want to just talk a little bit about the grant that provided for the board on a township grants program, which didn't think I would be a grants expert, but I think I am, knock on wood, at this point in time. So here
You're
today,
knocking it up, man.
just to make the public aware how fiscally responsible we are with money, even the little amounts, and trying to make it safe for our officers out here. So year to date, we've already been awarded, and these monies should be coming in, $4,400 in the body worn vest grant from the Attorney General's office. You'll see a resolution with the board. I applied for the violent crime reduction grant for the block cameras, and we were awarded $17,000 to get that program up and running. It's a little confusing because we're using Ohio One funds for it, but this grant is in addition to it, but it only pays for initial startup cost. The Axon body worn camera grant, $18,644. Obviously, we all know about the Havercamp donation, which is $17,000. Ross Community Foundation gave us a $3,200 grant for the kennel for the dog, concrete, the fencing that has to go around so our dog doesn't get out. The $2,000 from the Starfish assignment and the Butler County OBI task force was $9,000. So that's $71,000 in grants we've already been awarded for this year. So I know we have pending award letters of $20,800 from the Ohio Traffic Safety Office for the Selective Holiday Enforcement Program. It's unfortunate that we are getting this grant because of how many fatalities we've had in the township over the last couple of years, but this grant, which will start in calendar year 26, will go to addressing reckless driving, distracted driving, OBI driving, impaired driving, drug driving. It will be paid overtime to our officers and fringe benefits so that they can go out there and make these roads much safer, and it won't cost the township anything other than having enough officers to be able to do that. We have another almost 4,000 coming that I've applied for in the body armor grant for our officers to make sure they all have their own vests that fit the right way, in that we replace those under the grant. That's a 75% funding from the state. We only are required to match 25%. But we're making sure that every officer has a vest that is current and not expired and fits them the correct way, so that God forbid it saves their life if that ever comes across. Still waiting on a TARMA grant for Lexipol policy for $1,000. And I've already started our continuing professional training for the officers. I've already hit my 40 hours. That is reimbursable for the state, along with several of our other officers that are getting these hours in. At the minimum, when I bill them in July, that's going to be about $11,000 in grant funding that comes back. So that's a total of $108,000 I anticipate getting in this year for the township, for the police department. I spend all the other money. So that moves me right into the resolutions that we have.
Can I ask you just a quick
you
question,
should,
Chief?
sir.
That represents, I don't have your budget in front of me, but that represents nearly 10% of what your normal budget would be, correct? Over and above what is collected.
Yes.
Cost Ross Township, nothing.
No, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that work. That's big.
It's a lot of that.
That's big.
So being that there is the first resolution that comes to the board, I would like to apply to the cops, just release the cops hiring grant, so that allows us to pay up to 75% for a full-time officer, because we're under 10 full-time officers, we can only apply for one spot. But I would like permission, I've already got Lori and Julie and I have been diligently working on things at the state, because I believe they make it hard for you to apply for some of these grants, to get everything in place to be able to apply for this. But I think we can write this to get funding for another full-time officer 3 years, and then we would be responsible after that. We have to have a 25% match. I'm gonna ask them to fund the whole thing, but I think we have a good chance of getting it if we just apply for the 75%. The next one would be asking you to approve kind of twofold. When I wrote the state violence crime reduction grant for 17,000, I figured if we could get the most bang for our buck, let's write for 4 flock cameras. And because the most expensive cost is that initial setup cost for the cameras. And the state grant did approve that. So I'm asking for 2 additional clock cameras to be put on 27, because we get a lot of stuff that comes northbound that causes a lot of trouble. And we want to put a camera there, and then southbound, just before Hamilton, just south of Hamilton, New London Road, so we can catch people that are trying to, or maybe the back ways, come into the township from the north. By accepting that grant and approving the 4 cameras, we basically get a camera 5 years for free. So it's like having 4 policemen guarding all these entrances coming in. And we've already had some success stories, one including the burglar that hit down in the Venice, where even though we don't have our cameras up, because this is a very long process with ODOT to get approval for right of way and all those type of things, we were able to find that car utilizing flock to get our burglar since been arrested and should be coming up to either trials. So that's a separate resolution in there that involves updating the opioid settlement funds, because it's going to be a little bit more to fund those afterwards. And then I have body worn camera grant. We need to have approval to accept that. We've already signed off on that. That's the 18,000 I spoke about. And then I have a motion that we have done a background check on a young man that graduated the academy in March. And we are going to offer him a part-time position. He has passed all of his background stuff, and he has a part-time job that has benefits for him. So I'd like to give him the opportunity. We interviewed him twice. And staff, so my commitment to having 2 police officers on duty at all times.
Which is good. Because I wouldn't want to. Even though we have a community that's relatively safe, there's always somebody.
Where was that drone during Memorial Day parade? Because yeah, I can usually hear him. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I told him, I'm like, you could get a little bit closer. He was flying above the whole entire time.
That's
And
amazing.
he was sitting at the entrance to the cemetery, but he was high enough elevated that.
I had no idea.
I didn't see it.
That's cool. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it's really great because you could cover areas that you can't possibly see.
Yeah.
During that whole time.
Awesome.
All right, purpose, the approval to apply for a grant from the United States Department of Justice for 2025 for COPS hiring program grant funds to assist with the essential cost of the acquisition, one full-time police officer. Adoption. Resolution 2025-035, authorizing the application for the grant of the United States Department of Justice 2005 COPS hiring program grant funds to assist in the essential cost of the acquisition of one full-time police officer, authorizing the police chief to execute any required documents and connection with the grant application. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion?
Trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Purpose to approve the, accept the grants from the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services for 2025, the State Violent Crime Prevention Act. For the, LPR cameras and the installation of the body camera grant program for key. Move for the adoption of resolution 2025-6, accepting terms and conditions of the grant of the State of Ohio Department of Safety Office. Criminal Justice Services, duly appointing, authorizing the township administrator as a project manager to execute said grant terms and conditions, establishing the grant fund number 2009-17, entitled 2005 Violent Crime Reduction Act. The budgeting accepts receipts and making appropriation expenses and requesting an amended certificate of estimated resources for the Public County Auditor. Yeesh. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion.
trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Move for the adoption of resolution 2025-037, accepting the terms and conditions of a grant from the Ohio Department of Public Safety Office for Justice Services, appointing and authorizing the township administrator to direct the project manager to execute the grant terms and conditions, establishing the grant fund 2019, entitled a body worn camera grant program 2000, with receipts and making the appropriations, expenses, requesting an amended certificate and estimated resources for county auditor. I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Purpose to approval of the use of one Ohio opioid settlement funds for the implementation of the second of two additional license plate reading cameras. Council Resolution 2020-038, authorized extra, Senator from FOA, civil funds. I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Purpose to enter into the contract with Flock Safety for additional two license plate reading cameras. For the adoption of resolution 2025-013, entering into an agreement with the Flock Group Incorporated for the installation and leasing of two additional township administrator to execute the agreement. I need a second.
Second.
Roll call. Oh, discussion.
trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Purpose to approve the hiring of part-time police officer Storm Back. Move for the motion of -25-037 to approve the hiring back in the position of part police officer on successful completion of his first year employment and getting ability for the education and reimbursement of tuition and fees, including incurred during acting the peace officer. In accordance with the township policy, this employment is subject to completion of pre-employment testing and is in accordance to current staffing summary and pay rate resolution. I need a
Second.
discussion. Roll call.
trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young,
Yes, ma'am. Going back to all the grants that our police chief is doing such a great job of doing, we as a board, Great job. So happy to have you over. Application to go. Takes the burden.
Before we get to that, can I run back to road real quick? Because I had something I wanted to ask Paul. That rock area between Flubs and our parking lot, is that theirs or is that ours? I know.
We've always put it their property line because there was a chain link fence there.
Uh-huh.
And with the removal of the trees and to try to make it better, rocks were put in.
Right.
Pushed back.
What would it take? What are anybody's thoughts on having just a, where that checked area is between the yellow convertible and just to the left of that, to have a little path through there where people aren't walking through rocks and they're tripping or hurting themselves? If that's on township property, then that would be a concern of mine. We ask,
David?
yeah, let's put a little sidewalk.
Yeah.
That's my. Wouldn't survive without our. I can't think.
I agree with you. Well, that was what was coming next. We're allowing them to park a lot of cars here. And sometimes there's black trucks here. More often than not. And I think they'd probably go for that, especially if somebody turns an ankle on that. Who should ask that? Anybody have a relationship with the owner of the club? Should we send them a letter
See if we want to
asking
share
about it?
all.
Can we do that?
Yes, does
Okay.
anyone know him?
I don't know.
I know him. I can go.
Honiton,
Yeah, so
there's quite a few. We could look it up on the auditor's site.
they don't own that property.
Oh, they
Do
don't?
Do they own that property?
Let me look it up.
110 micro.
But yes, well,
Okay. The other thing, Paul, was what happened, what did you determine, if anything, down in front of First Financial and, Mr. Tennis's house with the work that ODOT did?
Just been monitoring.
Yeah.
I've talked with some. Watches. Fabric that.
Yeah.
That was that being wrong.
Okay.
Seeing the video and that. Not worth it.
Yeah. If it helped, it wasn't much.
Yeah.
You talked about another possible remedy. How committed to that remedy are you? Success.
About the,
Yeah.
catch basin. I brought it up, but, problem is that's why they say the catch basin. But in order to do that, you gotta dig something. That's all.
They put a drywall in like 30 years ago. They work okay if you get the sediment out of the top.
Yeah,
of
you
them.
gotta clean them out.
I thought they kind of backed away from drywall.
I mean, it's not the best solution, but the option is cure the problem on Lehigh School.
Other than being a nuisance, are we to wait until something bad happens? I don't mean you. I'm saying, is that what ODOT and Butler County saying? Something bad happens, we'll look at it. With that,
Obviously, there are there's
Mhm.
do something.
Thank you.
Hey, township business, old business, tennis mix, use overlay. Anything more?
Mr. Fair suggested that we collectively, well, we can't probably do it collectively, but we walk the area and kind of come back with some ideas. Walk it or drive it for like today. I would suggest that.
Yeah.
Or we,
Who we appoint? Anybody like in this committee to look into it?
so if we could maybe do that ahead of the next work session, that would be good. I have nothing else.
Anything else from the board? New business. Community Development Block Grant. By 2000. Here to be open 2000. Closed November.
Who applies for that? Is that something you do, Paul, or? Lori,
I
or?
don't know who's all. Playground. It is, like I said, the only.
Paul, if I can ask a question, didn't a couple years ago when the census took that particular set of neighborhoods out of the income area, we tried to do a petition and get it to be added to it. So this is basically just bringing that project forward because we were unsuccessful in getting that project to qualify. And now that they've determined that the areas are back to low to moderate income, those neighborhoods are now eligible again. Correct. So this was what I guess I'm trying to say is this project was kind of just pushed
Yeah.
because we lost.
To apply. Count that. I don't want. Try this on. It's paving is 100 year paving is.
I had other ideas on that, to be honest, starting out. And when I talked to Lori and Julie and realized don't have a road levy in Russell. If something like this alleviates the need or helps alleviate a need or postpones a need for our township levy, which I hate that word, then I'd be on board for that for sure. So ask for as much as because that again, that some of the other things I thought were more aesthetic, but I think this is more of a need, sure. So get what you can.
So instead of repaving, can we go to chip and tar and chip? This is more flexible, costs a lot less.
I don't know if I've never.
It's a nuisance for the first week or so, but once it settles in, it's good.
Yeah. I'm the problem. It's not it.
See, rescheduling July the 3rd, 2025 regular meeting due to the point. It works out for everybody. You want to wait till the second Thursday instead of the first?
That will also be a
That'll-
township
That's what I
association
thought.
meeting.
That'd be a new meeting.
It doesn't, I can always get someone to take minutes for me at that meeting.
We go for Wednesday then?
I'd rather do Wednesday the 2nd. Otherwise, would that move back the next meeting? Would we
No.
move that one a week? Then,
That-
then we'd have them 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, you mean move it, are you talking about moving it to the second?
Yeah, I'd just say move it to the second.
It's like
If we
you
can.
just said,
Yeah.
The county
we
meeting.
can.
I don't see why we couldn't.
I will agree to that, but there's a good possibility I'll have a new granddaughter arriving that week.
Oh.
So
Well, you're gonna be.
we'll
inter-
take precedence over all you people.
Absolutely.
Bring her in and
I am-
introduce her.
I am
Grandpa.
doing the best I can, waiting for this child to arrive. Talk to my daughter every day and keep hearing stuff, and I'm like, I'm saying June 20th, the week up. We're not going for the holiday.
I guess oxytocin, a shot, I don't induce labor. All right, so we're gonna go for Wednesday then, the day before?
Yeah,
Okay, the second. All right, anything else from the board?
That's all.
I'm okay with it. I'd say,
Me too.
go get the money and
Yes.
be the first one to the table.
Give her the sign on that. Announcements? And from the administrator, anything else from the board here?
Yeah.
I thought it's township administrator. You see the thank you, I think you mentioned that from the village. So, they're always great help for us on 128 up here in that garden area, 27, and that little village garden group is a great group for us to have. And I'm thankful. Yeah, the oldest ones there are 90. Okay,
I have one more piece of correspondence that came in. I sent the board and I sent the department heads an email with a document from OPERS. There is an opportunity for someone to run for a position on the OPERS board, as long as you are currently paying into OPERS now, which would be a good portion of our employees with some exclusions on the fire side. There is some rather stringent rules and regulations for running, but I didn't want to deny anyone an opportunity. So that's what that email was about. If you want more information, or if any of your employees are interested, I have a packet. It's sitting on the credenza in my office that they're free to look through. There doesn't seem to need to want to post that anywhere, and it doesn't serve a purpose to post it here when there's 3 other buildings. So if anyone has wants any more information on the running for the board for OPERS, come rifle through this document. It's fascinating.
raise your hand if you're interested.
And a lot.
You have to get some exorbitant number of signatures across 10 different counties, and it was like 20,000 signatures. I mean, it's a lot. So if you've done it and been successful, go with God, because that's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah. All right, anything else from the board? Topics for June 19th, 2025 work session, Venice Mixed Use Overlay District. That'd be the topic on that, and anything else from the board?
Nothing at this time.
Closing action. Is there any further business to come before the board? I move for the adoption of number 55-068, and adjournment of the meeting, and I need a second.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee McGurran,
Yes.
trustee Blower,
Yes.
trustee Young.
Yes, ma'am. So our next meeting is June the 19th, 2025, 6 o'clock here, the government building. Get in, of course, our session will be June 2nd.
That'll be a regular meeting. There we go.
I thank everybody for attending. Drinks and coffee and donuts will be served.
So Mr. Reininger, did you